Really,
Saturday.
How are you?
Yeah, so except for open house. Start the meeting with them on Sunday. Well, I went to our. Yeah, I can't wait to the steady she goes. Doesn't get a little too fast. It's like going like.
Oh my gosh, I know. Next time you go fishing.
Yes, I might, yes.
Oh my God.
Okay. I understand Sally. I do understand.
I'm tired of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Then I got the problem. Like, I think I know like, and then I saw him here. I was like, "You go back my parents." I go, because I was there.
Yeah. Let's go.
Where's my friends? Jay. Hi. Sure. Oh, you know what? You can't because this is in the way. Let me move that.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Jay, I need you to gong sit.
Retired.
Sit here. Okay. Okay. You're gonna wait till everybody gets quiet.
It was.
said that was a tired thing.
Good morning, afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? It is summer. Look at this. Look at all of our space.
Nobody here.
Totally summer.
Not nobody is.
Oh, the best of the best showed up. Best of the best showed up. Oh, hey, there we go. You guys, I wanted Jay to come up and gong us in this morning because, as you noticed downstairs, some of our offices have moved a little bit, right? I am back in the office that I've had since day one. Pinnacle Group has moved over. They're doing amazing things. We've got our Smith team has an office. Taylor and Catherine now share an office. Our All In folks have new space. Schmidt Group has new space. Lots of movement downstairs. Amy has new space. One of the things that I wanted to call out is that for the past, I don't know, 6 months, I've been sitting across from the Kierkegaard office. And it's been delightful to have them come in.
I don't know what's up.
This man comes in every morning singing. We know when he comes in because he sings. But the thing that I really want to call out is not the good and positive attitude or the fire that the Kierkegaard team seems to have lit in the marketplace, because my goodness, they are taking names every month. The thing that I want to highlight is that when the Kierkegaard group saw the market, and particularly Jay's population, change a little bit. He was getting referrals for seniors, for parents, for people who are making different moves. Instead of treating it as just one more piece of business, I saw Jay and his family then say, well, how do we make this a part of our value proposition and the business that we do? And I just want to commend you for diving into all of the education. And at some point, we're going to interview him and his family about how this is changing his business. But as you know, I just want to hold you up just in terms of business is worth owning, right? One of the things that I saw is he found an interest. He got super passionate about it. He did the education he needed to make a difference for his clients and for his business. And now he's seeing the fruits of his labor, and it's coming. I mean, there's more to be done. I know,
Right, yeah,
always more to be done.
So I'm working on a certification for a certified senior housing. There's only 160 people in the country that have it. It takes hundreds of hours of coursework, and I'm halfway through, but it's working with seniors. It's just not working with old people. Yeah, actually, it was another call. My name was out there, and a mom passed away, and I have a listing on Thursday from the world. And so it's once you get your name out there for being able to take it from everything, and that's what it's with everybody, attorneys. I talk to them, talk to attorneys and estate people. This big, it's hours and hours of stuff that you do, but for James and Kevin, they're all behind me, supporting everything. It's not just one person's job, that's for sure.
So thank you for diving into all of the work and for bringing us together.
Yes. Thank you.
The piece that I really want you to take away from that is not everybody should be a senior real estate certified person, because it's not everybody's passion. But if you want to go far in this field and not burn out, we were talking in Nicole's class earlier. This is a industry that can churn and burn you, right? You're working hard, you're hustling, you're trying to get business, you're doing all the things. If you don't love what you do and you don't remember why you're doing it, find something to get passionate about, because there are so many niches within real estate that will help you grow. And this is what I see. I mean, Katie does a referral business. Our land people do amazing work. You guys all have things that keep you coming, and I'm really proud of you all. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you for a group. Love it. Okay. So it just begins our little bit of a celebration. And we have a ton to celebrate today, starting with a little bit of growth. Maya Peterson joined our office. So yay, welcome Maya. And then we had a first closing. Jolene joined us, gosh, a hot second ago, and has a closing and has a listing. So congratulations, Jolene. We're excited about that. And into cappers. Becca Jasperson, congratulations on capping in the month of June. Becca just got back from Norway. So, I mean, if you're going to cap, use your money now to go on a big trip, right? So congratulations, Becca. Oh, hey, the Krickeberg group. Huh? Lisa and Jay. Cappers in the house. Love that. Eddie Martin of the Mind Right Realty Group. Congratulations, Mind Right. Brad Parent. Where's Jessica? Yeah, congratulations, Jessica. I know that's a lot of work for you. Way to go. Tina Reddick, our very own ATL cap. She's off at Glover this week. We've got Dan Schmidt of the Schmidt Group, business capper. As an aside, one of his team members, you might notice she's in with a little sling on her arm. She fell during a walkthrough of a listing, but here was her takeaway. We got a huge piece of business out of it, and 3 more pieces of business are going to come. So don't use that as a lead gen piece, but use everything that you got to build your business, right? So that was exciting. So those are our June cappers. I'm super excited about that. Excuse me. And now we're going to do some June recognition. You guys, we've had an incredible run of 6 months of some really amazing work. Here is an interesting thing I want to call out, especially with our land guys here. These are top listings taken for the month of June. Dina Hubrich, somebody who just joined us recently, she took 4 listings taken. Outdoor Dreams took 5. Callis Real Estate took 5. And Lifetime Realty Group took 8. So when Outdoor Dreams came, I think the very first team meeting we had was this type of meeting where we were doing recognition for the month. And I walked downstairs and they're like, we should be on that board. So here they are, true to their word. Here you are on the board. Congratulations, you guys. Love that. Okay, Home Run Club. You guys, this list just keeps getting longer and longer. As a reminder, this means you have 1 listing, 1 contract, 1 closing all in 1 month. So you've done business, you've got business coming in the future, and you got a paycheck. So congratulations to all of these people. Love seeing this. Did you all see your names up there? I see a lot of people in this room who's up here, so that's exciting. $1 Million Month in June. Pat Cotter, Diane Fresh, Tiffany Esteens, James Krickeberg, Terry Lewis, Katie Ninkovic, Lisa Packard, Brad Parent. So Jessica, congratulations again. Jeremy and Scott, Dan Schmidt, Zach and Dawn. Congratulations, you guys. Jackie Voigt and Emily Walzak. So it's a good month. June was a good month. Tops closed volume, June 2024. Pat Cotter tops the list with 2 million in closed volume. Emily Walzak, 1.6. Katie, 1.5. Terry, 1.3. Diane, 1.1. Carol, Dana, Taylor, Greg, and Royce round out our top list here. Congratulations, everybody. Lots of talk. Lots of talk of that. Top close volume, June 2024. 1120 Real Estate, CGR Realty Group, and Callis Real Estate. So congratulations to our teams. And then our groups, Lifetime at 5.4, Schmidt Group 4.1, Level Up 3.8, Medina 3.1, and the Krickeberg Group 3.2. Congratulations. Cricketinas, yes. That's
Add them together.
Cricketinas would take the top. Cricketinas.
So the Medinas were on our team for many years, then spread their wings and went on their own. But if we were still one, when we are one big happy family, look at where our standings would be.
Cricketinas. I love that. Yes. 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 And then we've got the level, right? I mean, we can all sorts of things we can do them. Okay. Top close volume year to date. Emily Walzak, 8.4. Katie Ninkovic, 7.3. Dana's 4.3. Pat's 4. Half of that was last month. Nicole Asaki is 3.9. Steph Sosa is 3.2. Sarah's 2.5. And Peter is 2.1. You guys, that is great work. Good work. Good work. Teams, Baumgartner Group, 6.4, Terry Lewis, 6.3, Calus Real Estate is 4, Pinnacle Group is 3.6. It's great work as well. Groups, my goodness, Lifetime leads the way at 20 million, Mindright's 12, Level Up is 11, Crickadinas is 21. Crickadinas lead the pack, you guys. Nice job. Somebody took down Lifetime. That'll get Scott going. Here we go.
You know, Scott and I saw Star Wars together, so we're like family too, so. Level Up like that.
Level Up for a Lifetime at the meeting. Got it. Got it.
That's what the email from Scott said, level up for a lifetime.
Okay, love it. And then individual closed units year to date. Emily's at 25. And Katie is not far behind her. Let's call it 21 because 20.6 is weird, right? Let's call it 21. Terry's 15. Nicole, there she is. 12.75. Dana's at 11. Peter and Steph are at 9. For those of you who don't know, Steph splits her time between here in Florida, and this is her Wisconsin number. So, you know, lots can happen here. Baumgartner Group's at 17. Pinnacle Group's 15, as is Calus Real Estate. And Outdoor Dreams, also a weird number, so we're gonna just call it 11. Just looking at me like, what? We're gonna call that 11. Okay, Lifetime Realty Group at 55. 8, that's 78 for Crickadinas, 40 for Mindright, and 35 for Level Up. I can't do that math really fast, can I? Yes, I can. 90. Wow, you guys, 90. Don't get any ideas. I like, you guys are good teams. Good, I love it. Okay, good work. And that's what we have. So, Dawn is coming up. That's her picture, it's her time. She talks to me often. She's like, every time we introduce a segment, we use the title. This is the only segment where we have a picture. Dawn gets a picture.
There's not, like, it's so empty up there.
It is empty up here. Everyone's in the back. This is, we've got Glover going on.
Yeah.
It's definitely summertime.
Yes.
Something else is going on
The
too.
back is full though.
It's like church, Dawn. It's like church.
You're all really far away all of a sudden. Oh, man. Okay, so I've had a lot of questions on the compliance line about excluded listings, delayed listings, single party, what can I do, what can I not do? So just, I feel like I'm kind of preaching to the choir for a church today. But like a little bit of just a reminder of what you can and can't do with each of these types of listings. So if you have an excluded listing, the purpose for an excluded listing can only be for the seller's confidentiality and privacy. So MLS doesn't want us using excluded listings for any other purpose other than that. You can't do any advertising online at all because the purpose is the seller's confidentiality and privacy. So we're not advertising it online. We're not sending emails. We're not doing those things with an excluded listing, but the KW list has been okay because that's internal. It's just a general information. It's not anything specific. There is an additional form for those excluded listings. The request to be excluded from the MLS has to be sent to MLS with the listing contract. And after it closes, you have to reach out to MLS. I think the most important thing of like the rules is like what happens if you don't follow them, and there's fines. So if you don't do the things you're supposed to do for an excluded listing, if you don't report an excluded listing to MLS or you don't report the status change, it's $100 a day fine. So if you have an excluded listing, let them know. And if they find that you abused the intended use of excluded listing, it's a $200 fine. So the purpose of an excluded listing is the seller's confidentiality, privacy. So they don't get fined.
Can I just jump in on excluded listings? We had
Yes.
a really interesting thing that happened this week, yesterday, where somebody came in with a closing check from an excluded listing and said, yeah, you're not gonna find it in command because it was excluded.
Oh.
Okay, can you?
Oh, yeah, no, they
Those
just.
two don't have anything to do with each other.
Yes.
Right? And if you wanna get paid, it needs to be in command.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So especially if it's because.
Sorry, guys, I only know
Wow.
those
So that's a good yes. It doesn't matter if it's excluded, delayed, or a single party. It should be
in command. So excluded listings do go in command. So,
Interesting for
so
sure.
because we want you to get paid. So command is where we store our data electronically and we make sure that you can get paid. So like that's let's get you paid.
In case you haven't seen the emails from Sarah, the same dates, times, apply
Yes.
for those as well.
Yes, so timelines are the same. Please get the information into command, because if someone calls from MLS and says, hey, we know you have an excluded listing and we don't have record of it, we're in the wrong. So we have to have a record of all of those documents. So get them into command. Thank you. For a delayed listing, the purpose is just the seller needing more time to prepare, and you can use that for marketing as well. Advertising is totally fine. Putting it on the KW list is totally fine as well. But the thing to remember about delayed listings is that there's no showings at all. I don't care if someone writes an offer for you and says that we want to be able to see the house now that we have an accepted offer. You cannot show that house if it's in delayed. There's an additional form, authorization to delay showings, that's added to MLS. Remember, that one does not, those delayed listings do not go on to Realtor.com. They don't go onto Zillow. It's not fed to the IDX feed. It could be a maximum of 21 days. And if you are caught having showings with the delayed listing, which none of you would ever do, there is an increase with each violation. So that leads to the suspension of your MLS access. It's very big.
Yeah. What about like if it's not delayed? Because I see people do it all the time where they do coming soon, just a photo of it, and they don't give any information, and they'll post on Facebook.
So if they have a signed listing contract, they can put something up if they have
They
48
just can't put
hours.
any information on where it is, or because like it's not delayed. Like I've seen like coming soon, not
They-
delayed, and then it goes live like on a Friday that they were there doing photos on Tuesday and taking photos. Could I do that or no?
If you don't have any information on
Yeah.
there, that should be fine. Is there's
But
no,
if someone reaches out to you and they're like, "Where's this property?"
you can give them very general information.
Okay.
Very
Just
general.
making sure.
Just keep yourself protecting it very general.
Okay.
So
Just
watch for it and
making
watch
sure.
for it and yes. Yes, yeah, because I know what the big thing is, like those fines, like it gets serious when you are violating these rules. It gets very serious very quickly. So like yeah, MLS access can be cut off with delayed listings if you are caught violating especially more than once. Single party and one party, that purpose is it's a contract just for those specific buyers. It cannot be advertised, but the KW list is okay. So sometimes we see people post on Facebook, hey, I have a single party. Do not do that. That's $1,000 a day. Fine, so don't do that. Single party is supposed to be in like verbal. So that's why we talk about it at our team meetings. That's why it's on the KW list. There's additional language in the contract stating that which buyers the contract is for. So that $1,000 a day is it's a big number. So because that one falls under clear cooperation. So as licensees, we need to cooperate with other brokerages. And I don't want you guys violating that. If you have questions, call the compliance line. We'll talk you through what you can and can't do. So that's what I've got today for you.
So before.
Oh, and also, yes, sorry, no. Oh, I was gonna say, and we'll have some more, those new contracts are not in zip forms yet. So they should be coming soon, and then we will be having some upcoming panels about, talking about how to talk about your value. Which will be part of the conversation that you'll be having with clients as you have those new contracts. Yes.
Those new contracts are out.
Are they out?
Yeah, so we looked at them in PC class last night.
Okay.
Everyone should get an email, the WRAS.
Okay,
There's a link in there, so like that pre-agency form is
Okay.
out, pretty cool. I read it. And then the new contracts with the seller compensation.
excellent.
It's all out.
Thank you.
Yeah,
When I had them last time, they were not.
Yeah, so we'll definitely take a deep dive into those.
Yes.
Right, that's the thing that's coming up ahead for everybody. Like, what does this, we've been talking about this forever. How do we present our value as buyers? How may be changing, not what does it look like? It's certainly the rules of posting are going to be changing. And it's been like this it's been this cliffhanger. They announced it, how's it gonna live? Well, now it's here, it's coming. So we'll be putting panels together to share how to think about it, how you put your value together. I know Nicole tomorrow, Lasaki in Ignite is going to be talking about your value, and all of this is wrapped up in how you see your value. And then the forms obviously go to support that. So stay tuned for more information. And before we move off of compliance, we regularly in all of our offices, as leaders, we take a look around and see, you know, what distinguishes KW in the marketplace. And there are a lot of amazing things that make us different. And one of the things that we don't talk about near enough is our compliance brokers and the system of support that is put in place. So when I was talking to an agent from, I believe it was Shore West or First Weber, it was one of the biggies out in the area. And I mentioned a hotline that we had, and they kept getting it confused with, oh, it's the WRA hotline. I don't want to use that, blah, blah, blah. I can't get a hold of my broker. And I'm like, oh, no, we have multiple people across multiple offices staffing that to support you and to get your answers. So what we tend to hear is like, oh, I left a message and, you know, I didn't hear. But you do, right? Sometimes it takes a hot second because these guys are busy with their lives too. But the fact that the team that supports this group and keeps you out of trouble is remarkable, you guys. And the fact that you're all here and you're hearing these things and there's $1,000 fine if you violate this, like at that point, when I have somebody in my office who says, well, I did this and I didn't know, like I think back to a room like this, right? Like, well, you obviously weren't in Dawn's training because we talk about this all the time. So thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Lisa and James, and our productivity coaches, Zach and Lisa, and everybody who helps get us acting appropriately out in the neighborhood.
May I just add for the record, you can reach out to compliance, you can text them, right? You can call it, you can leave a message, you don't need to call it twice. This is the call, excuse me, call. The best way to do it is just to leave a message saying what you need. That way Dawn knows to call you. If you call 3 times, she doesn't want to call you. So I say, call once.
Okay, education and training. You guys, here's the other thing that I love about what we do is whatever you're passionate about or whatever you need to grow in, you have the opportunity to do that. Right now, we're definitely deep into Ignite. Shout out to all of our participants who are doing the homework and showing up. Shout out to our instructors who are preparing and making sure everything goes really well for our people. This is one of the things that creates a difference for us out there as well. And if you've ever worked with a new agent from another office, we have some pretty amazing training here for people who are getting up and running. So thank you for diving in. Here's what's coming next. Nicole is doing your value blueprint. Mark Smith is doing personal touch. Shockingly, he's going to do door knocking. I'm not sure if he's qualified, but he is going to be talking about it. And then we have events coming up. The week after, next week, Lead Gen Powerhouse. I was talking to somebody, a young guy came into my, what was that? We got something? Okay. Somebody came into my office the other day and said, you know, what's the one thing that I can do to get more business? And I said, well, what's the one thing you think you can do to get more business? Oh, I need to write contracts better. If you're not lead genning, there's no reason to write a contract, right? So if you're not sure what that means, come to the Lead Gen Powerhouse session, close the loop with our own Chip Lees here, qualifying and close then with Jen Strelka is next week. You guys, you can drop into these sessions as appropriate. You don't need to do all of them. So find the area that you might have questions that you want to ace, and then we'll ask you to teach it in January. Doesn't that sound great? That's super motivating for everybody, I can tell. That's great. Okay. Oh, hey, you guys, we also have another opportunity to learn about something here. Since our land team joined us, they have been inundated. Is this the correct? Do you think that's correct? I'm not overstating this with questions. How do I do this? How do I set this up? What do you do here? Blah, blah, blah. I'll, fill in the blank, right? So they've graciously put together training for us on land. You guys want to do a little commercial for this? Sprung this on
You're
them.
not gonna want to miss it. It's gonna be.
Wow. Damn mystery.
Ed is the best public speaker I've ever listened to. No, it's gonna be informative. It's gonna take you a little sneak peek more into like what a day in the life we encounter, and you may realize this is more than I want to deal with, or I didn't think it was all involved that it is, and also we can kind of give you an opportunity to see if it makes sense to refer it or to get us involved, and we're it's not black and white. We're open to looking at it on a case by case basis.
Lots of information on how to navigate a land contract. And again, there's difference, like here's a tiny little lot, here's a big tract of land, here's farm property, all those things. So if you're curious, or you happen to have a big sphere that has property up north, or, you know, all of the things, they want hunting ground, all of the things, come and learn what all it entails and get to know these guys better. So when is that? You're feeding everybody too, right? July 18th, 1 o'clock, Thursday at 1.
Jessica from Comp here. So they're
Thanks.
the main lender that focuses on vacant land properties. Others, but she'll kind of give you a little insight as to why that's their specialty.
Perfect. Okay. And then also we have a mega agent camp coming up. Has everybody heard what Charlie says about mega agent camp? It's not average camp. It is mega camp. That's correct. We have, you know, we have a handful of different conferences, family reunion, all levels, all interest, all roles, dive in, kind of choose your adventure, navigate what comes next for you. Mega camp truly is for people who want to build big. Has a lot of teams information in it. It assumes you know the basics of how to do real estate. For those of you who have been there before, I know Nicole, you've gone, James, you've gone. Good experience at mega camp? Okay, takeaways?
So I've never been to family reunion, but I feel like the feedback from family reunion is how big it is. I personally like mega agent camp, not average camp, because I think it's just big enough. You run into the same agents, networking, I'm able to thrive.
Thank you. James?
Yeah, I was like, it's good to meet agents around the country, remote businesses, and this opportunities there. And I found Gary Keller to be very trustworthy as it relates to conditions in the market based on the vision, and then bring out like the best, the certified best of the best, whatever thing it is that's being discussed. So if you're passionate about one thing, you're going to hear from whoever's the best in the industry.
Austin's a great city.
Austin is a great, especially in August. Does it get better?
I'll say with mega camp, it's easy to keep up with. Family reunion has a lot of breakouts and panels, so you end up spending a ton of time looking at like, well, I'll go here, and if I can't make it this one, I'll go this one. Mega camp is one stage, sit there and watch like the one presentation, and that's it. There's like a couple little things going on, but it's all about the one main stage. So impossible to miss.
If you know where to go
Yeah.
with the one stage, you're good. You were gonna say something?
I said I heard a rumor that the conference center next year is gonna get under construction, so that maybe we can get to Austin while you can.
Austin's a very cool city. Okay.
Not in August,
Although weather's wonky, who knows, it'll be 60 degrees this year. Okay, and then finally, we have a social branding boot camp on the 18th, this Thursday. It's TikTok. Tickety Talk, right? Is that what Jason Abrams calls it on the Tickety Talk? James Shaw too. Yeah, I'm of that camp, but it's not my jam. So if you want to learn about it, don't step in my office, go to this and learn a little bit about it. Okay. Kathleen Wooten, who has been powering through with a bad back. Thank you so much for being here. Education calendar, did you have anything to add? We've not asked you to come up because you're here. No, all good? Okay. You guys, I've invited Steph Minnick to join us. You may remember Steph from last year. She is somebody who did, she's a maths coach with us. And midway through the year, she always does a little bit of a mindset reset, right? So we've been talking a lot about your goals and your numbers and your activities and how do you reach those and what do you do? She's gonna have a little conversation with us about how you can think about the back half of the year, get yourself set. It's a great career, not a great year. So a lot of that great career is how you show up every day. So she also said that she, Steph, are you here with us?
I just logged in.
Hey, how are you?
Good timing. Good. How are you guys?
Good. Let me see if I can make you
bigger here.
Okay.
Oh, I got you there. Yep, yep. Oh, I think,
Hey Kathleen, can you give me any indication of how to make this bigger? You don't need to come up if you can't come up.
Just do stop.
oh, okay. Hold on, Steph, we'll get you. You're right now, you're very small. Oh, there you are.
Oh, no,
Perfect.
it's really big. Oh.
Okay, so Steph, you can only see, well, no, you can kind of see the room. It's a little bit like church. We've got a bunch of people in the back right now. Oh, Casey, there you go. See, there's your room. Steph, we're excited that you're here. I've introduced you as a map coach and a wonderful asset to the KW community. She's also an amazing agent on the Falk Rubin Gallagher team out of the North Shore office. And I don't know if you're picking up any new MAPS clients, but gosh, if you are, you guys, and you're interested in MAPS coaching, she's somebody to keep an eye on. So Steph, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. I always love seeing you guys, and I know it sounds like it looks like there's a bunch of people on Zoom. So today, I mean, do you want me to just jump right in, or?
I love that. Yes, you go. The floor is yours.
All right, so thanks for letting me visit today. I spent a few minutes this morning with the North Shore office, just kind of helping people. It's kind of a timely part of our year to just do a little bit of a pause and check in to see how we're doing, right? Both from a business sense and also just an energy sense. We're all working super hard, and a lot of times when we get to this point of the year, we can be a little burnt out or run down, or, it's just finally nice out, and we're hoping to take advantage of some of the flexibility that sometimes our job can offer. So if we could just take a few minutes, and if I could ask a small favor, if you're on Zoom and you are camera ready and not driving, I'd love to see your faces. And if you're in the room, like, if we just give ourselves a break of putting the phone down. And anything we write, I'd love for you to write on pen and paper. There is just something that helps kind of connect us when we have the written word versus typed or digitally. So, and then the other thing I'd offer is we're going to go through some numbers today. And I think sometimes people have a tough time tracking numbers because they have an emotion to the number. And so for today, if our numbers, we can just give ourselves permission for them to be neutral, right? They're neither good or bad. There's no emotional charge to them. We'll just go through that today. And then today we're going to kind of take on two roles. The first is of an engineer, and the second is of an artist. And they're two very different roles. If you'd kind of look to join or become one of those things, you're probably a very different personality type. And yet we're going to take on both today. So that engineer is, if we were to say, let's say, build a factory, that engineer is, okay, what's the size of this factory and what machinery do we need? What does it do, right? What are we making? And the artist is going to think about, well, why is that important, right? What makes this beautiful? So we're going to take on and kind of work both sides of our brain today. So to start, I want you to just take a deep breath and think about the last 6.5 months. So we're about 6.5 in. And I'm curious, you could write down, and if you're on Zoom, throw it in the group chat, but what went well, right? Like, what are some wins that you're proud of? And take a moment and write them down, no matter how big or small. Make sure that you throw in some personal stuff too, right? So where did you win from January 1 to July 16th? And like I said, if you're on the chat, I'd love to see them and we can all celebrate you. And then let's take a moment and we're going to travel back to January 1st. So just kind of rewind a little bit and think about that goal that you set. Maybe you set it during like a fall business planning clinic. Maybe you set it on December 31st, New Year's. But what was important about that goal? So think about, maybe it was a unit goal, GCI, volume. What about that goal was important to you? And when you achieved it, what would that do for you? I love this win in the chat, actually doing it. That's perfect. Following through. So we're gonna first step into that engineer role. And what we want to do first is kind of understand where are we at with our goal. And with my coaching clients, we do a gap analysis exercise, which is kind of a worksheet where we work through kind of what's pending, what's our fallout rate, all of that. But for today, we're just going to do like a back of the napkin gap analysis. So I want you to take your goal. And again, if it was a unit goal, that's probably going to be kind of easy. If it was a GCI goal, you just kind of have to know where you're at. But so let's take your goal. And then let's subtract out from there everything you've closed up into this point. So any closed units. So if I had a goal of 20 units and I've closed, let's say 8, I now have a gap of 12. And then we're going to take out what are pending. So anything we have under contract, let's remove those as well. So essentially, we're just going to take our goal minus our closed units minus our pendings, and that equals the gap. That's what we have left to do. And when you've got your gap, shout it out if you're in the room or throw it in the chat. Let's figure out what do we have left to do to hit our goals.
6 closings. Awesome.
Awesome. What else?
8, 24,
8, 24. Cool.
13,
13.
30.
And I heard 30 something.
Yep. And some giggles. So I'm not sure if people are like, ooh, that's a lot, or I am not sharing, but it sounds like there's some nervous giggles. But
Yeah. And you know what? We got the same kind of reaction this morning too. So now, before we get to like kind of our time remaining in the year, think about your pipeline right now, right? Your active listings without offers, your buyers that you feel confident will pend or close in Q3 and Q4, right? Those more A buyers. How many of your gap could we fill with your current pipeline? So take a moment and think about that. And then we'll have a true gap of how many new people we have to find. All right, so now with that number in mind of these new people, it's kind of like we're cooking, right? And if you ever cooked in like on one pot or one burner, we've got like a pot of boiling water. We're gonna make pasta. And on the other pot, we've got to make our sauce, right? And we've got to kind of focus on both things at once. So over the next 18 weeks, we're gonna focus on how do we convert our pipeline, and then how do we add more people to our pipeline? And I brought up the term the phrase like 18 weeks. So I counted the weeks before getting on this call. And between now and mid-November, we've got 18 weeks. Did that surprise anyone else aside from me, right? Does that feel shorter than we expected, thinking we're about midway through the year, right? So we said we've got that gap of 8 or 23 or whatever it was. What we want to do is divide that unit count by 18. And that's how many units we need to pend every week in order for it to close in 2024. Now, you probably know from like all of our conversations during our team meetings that units pended and closed is really like, that's a lagging indicator, right? We've got leading indicators and lagging indicators. And pendings and closings are all a lagging indicator or the result of an action at the top of the funnel. So what we can do too is if you really want to make sure that you hit that goal, we've got to figure out, well, what needs to happen from an activity standpoint that would get us to that lagging indicator. So if you know your conversion rate through like your economic model or numbers that you track, this will be fairly easy for you because the path is in the math. If you're still kind of working on becoming a better tracker and that's an opportunity for you, I'll give you what we use at MAPS. So at MAPS, we say that for every 2 appointments, you should be able to get 1 contract. And when I say appointment, I'm going to say like a listing appointment or a buyer consultation, right? Not a showing appointment. So every 2 appointments should equal 1 contract. And at MAPS, again, everyone's number is a little bit different, but on average, about 60 contacts or 60 two-way conversations equals 1 appointment. So we need 120 conversations to get 1 contract. So when we know that math, it really unlocks the opportunity, right? So if like in Becca, she needs 8. So if her gap is 8, we need 16 appointments. Well, then we can figure out, we can multiply that by 60 to figure out how many conversations would likely get her to her 8. So this is all the engineering, right, of building our factory. So before we kind of break and shift gears, I want you to think about looking ahead at the next 18 weeks. Is there anything that might get in the way of you hitting that weekly goal, that weekly appointment goal or contact goal? And if so, maybe we need to divide it by a shorter or a smaller number. So for instance, if you're going to mega camp and you're going to be traveling that week, do we need to divide it by 17 instead of 18? Or what support or leverage could we add so that even if you're gone a week, you've got activities going like smart plans or contacts or something running in the background so that you're still working while you're away. So we can start to think about some leverage there. Any questions on the math or the engineering point before we get into more reflection? The room is silent. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and we're going to kind of pivot into the other side of our brain. What I want to do today is give you permission to hit that goal. And I also want to give you permission that if there's not meaning attached to that goal, to reforecast that goal, right? Just because you set something in fall of 2023 doesn't mean it still applies to you in July of 2024. And so depending on where we're at and how you feel about that weekly number, I'm curious who here is feeling behind the goal. And if you're like most people this morning and most people right now, that's very natural. Who here is feeling on pace or ahead of their goal?
Okay. Couple hands went up.
Awesome, cool. So 2 things, for those of you who are feeling behind in that first group, we've got 2 options. We can figure out, how do we step on the gas or do we change our destination? And for those of you who are feeling ahead or on pace, we can say, do you want to stay on cruise control or do we change your destination? Do we push it a little bit and create a stretch goal? So let's think about that. And I'm going to give you some reflection questions. And my job as a coach is to ask questions that get you to think. And so I'm going to ask a lot of questions and not give you a lot of answers. And I would suggest that you write down these questions and then schedule some thinking time later this week to really reflect on them, or maybe talk to them with like an accountability partner or someone in your office that you feel like might be a good guide for you. So my first question is, for you to hit that goal, to hit that gap that we talked about, what are 1 to 2 changes you need to make such that your goal becomes a reality? So I'll just repeat that again, but what are 1 to 2 changes that you need to make so that your goal can become a reality? And write down what you think they might be, and even just kind of like brain dump, because sometimes the first thing that comes to mind might not necessarily be the best thing. And then we'll follow up with the question of what makes it worthwhile to change? What about that goal essentially is worth it to you to make those changes? Then let's flip that coin and look at it from another angle. what will you get if you don't change? And the answer here might be something positive, might be something not positive, but it might be like there might be some benefits, right? So I'll tell you a story. I have a coaching client on the East Coast, and last year he had some health issues, and before he and I were working together, had some health issues and really kind of made some decisions that weren't great for him financially. And so when we started working together, our primary focus was kind of working out of that financial hole and improving his business so that he would feel less stressed financially and get his business back and up and running. And he did that. He is out of that hole, and his business, he did more business in like 60 days than he did in, I don't know, 6 months. It was pretty impressive. But his goal originally was this big number and growing a big team. And one of our recent calls, when we were doing a very similar exercise, he said, you know what, Steph, I don't want that anymore. And we worked through this question, what will you get if you don't change? That if you don't change to hit this higher number? And he was like, his words were, I'd get some joy and he'd be content, right? And he'd have more time with his spouse. So there were some really cool things that he got that helped him understand which decision was right for him. So my next question would be, what makes this goal meaningful enough to do the work necessary to accomplish it? And then based on some of the reflection that you're doing and some of the answers that are coming out on paper, how you're feeling right now, like how committed are you to your original goal? Scale of 0 to 10. 0 being totally non-existent, 10 being like, it will happen. There's no doubt in my mind. And where might you fall on that schedule or on that kind of reference? And if it's less than a 10, right? What would need to happen to make it a 10, or what goal would you feel connected to at such a high level that you would rate yourself a 10? So as we kind of round out this artist kind of reflection part of this conversation, think about what is the first step you could take today that would help you answer these questions or help you get closer to your goal, whatever that might be. And maybe take out your phone now and send someone a text. You can text me if you want. You can text, maybe it's an accountability partner like we talked about. Maybe it's Diana, and say, here's the first step that I will take today to get there. And then would just encourage you to plan like 30 minutes, like maybe you go for a walk, or you have some quiet time in the morning, or just some white space in your day before the end of the week. And think about some of these questions and what is the plan that you can hit at 10 out of 10 in the next 30, 60 days that would make it impossible for you to not hit whatever goal you decide to set and keep.
Love that.
So after these questions, I'd love to hear some ahas. And like I said today, make something up. Don't hurt my feelings. I'm new here.
What ahas did you have, you guys? I'll start with one. Steph, we talked before you came on, we do production awards, right? And I have to say, for people who show up on those boards, things are really exciting. Every once in a while, I'll get somebody in my office who's like, oh, I'm not on that board. I'll never show up on that board. They're a little bit defeated. And one of the things I love about exercises like this is it reminds me, grounds me in that this is our career. Like, we get to choose where we fall, and we have some tools and options, and sometimes it's okay to take a step back. Gosh, who wouldn't take a step back for more joy? Like, at the end of your life, is anyone gonna say, I wish I worked more? And sometimes joy comes in achieving really, really big goals, right? And only you get to determine where that joy is gonna come from, or what those, you put it so well, I think, like, what do you get from keeping the goal? What do you get from changing the goal? And I would invite everybody just to underscore that. Take some time, take some thinking time about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and just be really intentional. So that was my aha. I'm gonna stop talking because I know there are a lot of other smart people in this room who have had ahas. Or not so smart people in this room. I didn't mean to put the pressure on them. I really didn't, but anybody can share an aha. Yes, Mark.
I think the best thing is that halfway through the year is to be able to track where you're at. We always do our next year's planning in November. You know your numbers, and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I'm not really close to where that's at, or I blew it out of the water, either way. But it's nice to do like a half a year look and say, all right, where are we at? Where's our gap? Where do we need to be? And what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah. I was gonna say also the advice that you gave to, maybe you need to change your destination, whether it's, just your goal, don't beat yourself up. You might just have to have a learning moment, readjust, and then get ready for the next calendar.
100%.
Yeah. Thank you. Both of those were great. I think as long as there's meaning behind that goal, we are more likely to hit that if we're attached to it. But if we just set some goal, because the number one thing I see is like agents, I'm going to double my business next year, right? But why? Like, it's just like when our clients move, they move because, right? They move because of a life change, or there's something driving them for that. And we need that driver too, to make that goal more attainable. And then I loved what you said in the back corner about kind of business planning in the fall and then a recheck-in. There's just one light bulb moment that I wanted to share today, because some of my clients do this, is test run. If you're starting to business plan for next year and thinking of a goal for next year, well, what activities do you need to hit to do that? And trial run it now, right? There's no, like, this is like, what do you call it? It's like a run through, or, like your, what do you call it? Dress rehearsal for next year that you could do and see, okay, how likely am I to hold to those activities?
So if we have two more ahas, Nicole Saki had one. Nicole Saki.
Yes, I'm in the mindset that we're halfway through the year, so we have another half to go. But it's really eye opener to say we need to do this.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, holy crap.
Time keeps moving, for sure. Zach Shipley.
I did this exercise last week, find that 5 days ahead of everyone else. But one of the things that I really like about it is boiling down, like, okay, this is how many units I need to go, this is how many conversations I have, blah, 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 like going it down, like, okay, what about to the day, to the hour, how much activity do I have to do? Is it making one call? Is it making 100 calls? Where am I in between? And also giving myself flexibility to go, like, oh, I'm going to be at Mega Camp for 4 days. I need to get one more appointment the week before or the week after. Oh, I'm going to take a vacation on this weekend. I need to make one more appointment the week before or the week after. And really getting specific about how I'm actually going to hit that goal by knowing like how many appointments per week and which week I have to do a little bit more in order to take off the time to enjoy the life that I'm building.
100%. One of the other things that I like about this is that, we do the activities number. And what did you put? 60 phone calls for an appointment? 60 conversations?
Yep.
60 conversations for an appointment, and two appointments to get a contract, right?
Yep.
Okay, so if your numbers happen to be 5 appointments for a contract, but you hit the 60, that's another way to influence your numbers, right? Now it's a skills game. Now it's how do I help navigate and have conversations, right? So I think exercises like this not only help you understand the activities that you need to do, but understands how you pick what you spend your time on in terms of learning, right? Because you can learn all day long edutainment as we talk about it, but find what is really going to make the difference for you and roll forward. And that's also where maps coaching comes in really.
I think I just had a moment now that we're happy. Everybody's, I'm not ready, I'm doing this, I'm working on that. This is a good time to check in with all those people that were working on whatever they need to work on to possibly, you know, be home buyers and that to see where they are in their journey.
Yep.
Just checking in and making sure that they remember you and that they know that you remember them.
Got it.
To see who they are.
100%. Awesome. You guys great insights, you guys. I love it. Steph, thank you so much for bringing your insights and talents to the room. Really
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
for the opportunity to see you guys. If there's anything I can do for you, just reach out.
Awesome. Thanks, Steph.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay. That's Steph Minnick. She's again an agent out of Falk Weaver Gallagher Group. If you want to be coached by her, she's amazing. Just give her a call. She's great. And last thing that we're gonna do is coming soon. Anybody have any new listings they want to talk about, Ed?
47 acres, with a small, like 600 square foot cabin in southern Adams County, about 15 minutes south of Dallas.
Nice. Good. 69. Very good. Love that. Yes, Mrs. Shipley.
Bedroom ranch in Waukesha around 3:30, that's coming next week. And then also a 5-bedroom, Brookfield's house, about 3,000 square feet, being around 8.
Sorry. Yes, ma'am.
We have, a stairless ranch, 3-bedroom, 1 bath in Green Hills. I think it's going live on
Square foot?
229.9.
Square foot? Square foot?
Square foot, sorry.
Yes, sir.
1969 model home that I offered last week, sold in 2 days. But 2 houses down, the same 1969 4-bedroom colonial, also.
Next week. Awesome. Very good. Very good.
I'm gonna guess the week after that, he's gonna have 1, 2 houses.
I mean, he's just gonna work his way. There you go. Nice. Nice. All right, well, you guys, 18 weeks left. Thank you all for the work that you're doing. You are released to the wilds. Go get it. Figure out your numbers, do your activities. What brings you joy? Put it together. Make a life worth living. Do the things.